Hi. This is Melissa, and I'm from Mabs Media. And today I'm going to tell you a little bit about one of the stories that is in the new book coming out called A Book of Magic called Adventures by Ruth Manning Sanders and illustrated by the wonderful Robin Jakes. So the first book in this collection is called Wide Awake and His Brothers, and it was originally an Icelandic fairy tale. Ruth's daughter Joan would go travel around, and she would gather all of these stories from all over the place and bring them back to her mom, and her mom would interpret them and write them down. And this story I thought was really interesting because it really combines a lot of sort of pre-Christian folklore elements and also Christian elements and traditions into the story. So Wide Awake and His Brothers is about 5 boys who are born to just a farmer and a wife, and they are named. Actually, they're not named. They're just given numbers. So it's the first boy, the second boy, the third boy, the fourth boy, the fifth boy. Very no-nonsense Nordic sort of situation here. And so one day their parents are out working in the I was going to say yard, but they're working out in the fields, and a traveler shows up at their house, and the traveler is obviously very tired and hungry. So the boys invite him in, and they feed him, and they give him things to drink, and the man is very, very thankful, and he says, well, what is your name? To all the boys. And the boys go, well, I'm the first brother, second brother, etc. And he goes, oh, no, this won't do. You're going to have names, and I will give you also a skill. So this guy, he insists on giving them names, and in the story, not only is he giving them names, but he says, I will christen you. So that's like the first kind of introduction to a Christian element and this folklore element, right? So the first boy is named Wide Awake because he will always be alert, and he'll be able to see things that other people might not be able to see. The second is the Good Swordsman, kind of self-explanatory. The third is Tracker. You can track things and find things that are lost. The fourth is called Good Climber. Again, these are very Nordic. This is a very Nordic situation. It is like, it's cut and dry. These are your skills. That's going to be your name. And the fifth one, which I wonder if Ruth took a little bit of poetic license here. The fifth son is called Eloquent, and he is able to talk people into things, which is also a very good skill to have. So time passes, and these boys grow up to be young men, and they go to work for the king in the stables. And while they are working, they find out that the king has 5 daughters, very convenient, princesses, and every night one is getting stolen. And then they start talking about how it is during the month of March, it's very cold, and it's right before Easter, which is another interesting kind of, juxtaposition of Christianity and also this very traditional setting. The brothers decide, well, we've got to help, right? There's only one princess left. Everyone else has been kidnapped. So they, and they're always kidnapped at night. So they decide to stay awake. Good thing there's Wide Awake, and watch and see what happens and guard the princess. So that night, everybody falls asleep. And it's very, like a kind of a Sleeping Beauty situation. Everyone tries to stay awake, but they fall asleep. And while everyone is sleeping, Wide Awake discovers that a troll is coming in to kidnap the remaining princess. He wakes up the rest of his brothers. The Good Swordsman tries to stop the troll, but is only able to wound him on his arm because he's afraid to hurt the princess, and the troll escapes. And the but the third, brother says, no problem, I'm a tracker. So he helps the brothers go and find and follow where this troll is going. They follow the troll to a cliff, which on the cliff is like the troll's castle. The good climber says, got this, and he helps everybody climb up to the castle. And when they reach the castle, Eloquent takes over and he goes, look, I think this is now where I need to step in, because we don't want anyone getting hurt while we rescue the princess and princesses. So the Eloquent brother goes in and talks and talks and talks and talks and talks and talks to the troll. Talks so much that the troll doesn't realize time is passing. And if you remember from other stories, trolls in some traditions, if they see sunlight, they'll turn to stone. And that is exactly what Eloquent is able to do. He's able to convince the troll to stay up so late and then look out the window just as the sun is rising. So the troll's now stone, so they can they go and they search for the princesses, and they happen upon them, all the brothers, in this room where they are all tied to the wall by their hair, which is also another kind of little interesting tidbit. I wonder if there's something in Icelandic folklore about hair and being tied, because that was such a very big part of this story. And they're rescued, and then all of a sudden the old man shows up, the one that named the boys, and helps them get back to the castle with the daughters, the princesses. And they go back to the castle. Guess what? The king is so excited that everybody's back that he offers the 5 daughters to his 5 daughters to the 5 boys. Everyone goes to live in the castle, and everything is happily ever after. And the old man, who's actually a magician, you find out then, is invited to the wedding. So I don't know much about Icelandic mythology, but I was looking about, there's this one god, Balder, who he is tragically killed by the work of Loki, that naughty guy. But he is known he's associated with spring. He's very magical, kind, and good. And so I wonder if there was some reflections of that myth into this story. And then when when Christianity was introduced, then that's where the mentions about Easter and being christened also come in. Anyway, so this is called Wide Awake and His Brothers, and it's his tale from Iceland, and it's in the new book that's coming out, A Book of Magical Adventures, and I think you're really gonna like it. Have a good day. Bye.